everyone, Renee here. In this video, I'm going to share with you my current favorite face masks. My first video ever on this channel was about face masks. That was my mask era. And then for a long time afterwards, I just wasn't as interested anymore. I'm finding myself once again returning to my mask era. I think it's because recently, especially in the last 2 years, I've been feeling like my skin just needs extra help, extra everything, especially during weather transitional times and when my skin is getting a little more irritated trying to adjust to the dryness. And I've been really embracing and enjoying taking that extra time for self-care and skincare. These are the masks I love indulging in. They are an immediate transformation and a lot of times a quick fix. They're also what I'm going to be stocking up on the most during sales time because they also make excellent gifts. Now, this has become an outright obsession for me. I would love to petition for each box to come with double the amount, at least. From SuperEgg, their Calm Movements Eye and Cheek Mask. The majority of the masks I'm talking about today are hydrogel. They are more pricey, but it's worth it. Hydrogels have the ability to hold a vast amount of liquid serum, and you can wear these for a really long time, and you want to. In my experience, the longer, the better, the more smoothed out, glowy, and soft my skin is. You get 2 of these eye and cheek masks and the shape of them are, in my opinion, just pure genius. I've always been drawn to the masks that can cover the central area and avoid the outer edges of your faces because you don't have to worry about sloppy fit, but also you don't have to worry about the hairline being affected. This covers the entire area of my face, which really needs it the most. This is the area that gets the most inflamed, that gets the driest, and is the most sensitive. I mean, I love an eye patch, but I love an eye and cheek patch even more. It's also where I have the puffiness, the eye bags, and the most visible pores. I also have a thing for transparent masks because, you know, you can go incognito on a long haul flight, but also I love using them underneath my LED treatment. This is instantly calming. It just feels so soothing and it's very hydrating. This also has their unique 5GF complex with neuropeptides. 5GF means 5 different forms of growth factors, all aimed at better cell rejuvenation and really strengthening the skin barrier. Upon removing this, I mean, my skin surface in this area is blurred. My whole cheek under eye area just feels like a freshly peeled egg. Collagen masks have kind of been a trending thing. I'm definitely not mad at that. Collagen is a great moisturizing, hydrating, and skin plumping ingredient. Of course, this is not to be confused with skincare ingredients, most of them being active that can actually promote collagen production, such as ascorbic acid, retinoids, growth factors, peptides, and also devices like LED. A big favorite of mine is from Torriden, their Cellmazing Firming Gel Mask. This is all about the collagen and the peptides. This is a 3-part mask, so you've got the upper face, lower face, but also you have a neck mask. There are a lot of face masks attached to neck masks that can be very sloppy, but the way this is done is just perfect. I'm at that point where a hydrogel mask on my neck can make a big difference. It will completely smooth everything out. So I'm grateful that this is so well done. This is very hydrating and plumping, which is a base requirement at this point, as well as just smoothing out. This hydrogel is super concentrated. This uses their 5D multi-low molecular collagen complex, so none of these have any scent for those of you who prefer that. Overnight masks are probably what I'm using most currently, mainly because of the drier, colder environment. It's really taking a toll on my skin and it completely saps any glow. The next day results are just, I mean, they're just seriously transformative and unbeatable. One that I'm using pretty much every chance I get. And I'm not even sure what is the more appealing aspect of this, whether it's this whole skintertainment part or if it's the actual next day results. From Medicube, their Collagen Night Wrapping Mask. This is kind of magical. So it's an overnight peel-off mask and it executes flawlessly. It works the same way any overnight mask should work, but just does it better in my opinion. So after your entire evening routine, about 15 minutes before you go to bed, you apply a thin layer of this over your moisturizer. This is a clear, kind of gluey gel and it applies beautifully on the skin. You only need a thin layer. In fact, it feels a bit like you're applying a layer of varnish on your skin or like a top coat. In fact, that's exactly what it is. You're applying a top coat. In 15 minutes, this completely dries down and you can go to sleep. The adherence on this is just next level. I couldn't really believe it. I've slept on my face with this on, even rubbed it on my pillow, and that has not disrupted the layer at all. In the morning, everything still feels really tightened up. I still have that sort of glass, shiny veneer, and you just peel it off. And these peel-off masks are really satisfying, almost like shedding a top layer of skin. Again, everything is blurred out, smooth, and just very brand new feeling. Whatever you can't peel off, you just can rinse off. This is way better than slugging, just from the user experience to the results. This has been a must for me while I'm dealing with my drier skin, but also it's very protective against any strong heating units just sapping my skin. This has all the usual suspects when it comes to ingredients, the greatest hits. They're all in here. And on Prime Day and the upcoming Black Friday, these are what I heavily stock up on. I've been mostly using these interchangeably. They're all equally effective and really just marginally different. I mean, they're the same price. Biodance's Bio-Collagen Real Deep Mask is pretty much the one I consistently use the most. This also has multi-low molecular collagen as well. That's something that's quite fundamental in all of these sheet masks. But what makes this one stand out a little extra for me is that this contains also galactomyces ferment filtrate, which is just an ingredient I love. My skin loves it. It just gives my skin that extra complexion enhancing kick. These are generally just full of fabulous ingredients, many of which are predictable, such as different weights of hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and so on. Each one of these masks contain 1.19 ounces of concentrated serum in it. It's basically more than your regular 1 ounce bottle of serum solidified into mask form. So this is the last step of your skincare routine after you have applied everything else, including your moisturizer. So you apply this as an opaque mask, and by the morning time, this will have completely turned transparent. The morning peel off is so intensely satisfying. I mean, it feels as though your skin has sucked the life out of these masks. Like everything it had to give, it's given. But it's like revealing newborn, juicy, fresh baby skin. Of course, I also love the masks from SungBoon. The two that I love the most out of the entire range, and the ones that I only use, are the Deep Collagen Hyalu B5 Hydrating Mask and the Deep Collagen Power Boosting Mask. There's a little bit of a difference with the way it adheres to my skin, especially at night while I'm thrashing around. But that probably is just too subjective to my own personal experience. I do try as much as possible to leave the masks on through the entire night, but usually by the time I wake up in the morning, it's off, not because it's fallen off, but because I unconsciously just take it off in the middle of the night. And even then, my skin still feels transformed in the morning. I think as long as you keep it on over 3 or 4 hours, then it's all good. But if you're one of those perfect unflinching back sleepers, you're not going to have a problem. I've never understood the whole sleeping pack concept. It all just seemed very gratuitous, but I do love a cream mask though, especially if you have moments or periods of time when your skin is really dry. They can be such a great quick fix or just an overnight fix. I have 2 luxury favorites that I have loved through the ages because I just haven't come across anything that I like as much. These are creamy formulas, but they're really not heavy, so they are layerable. They distinctly form some kind of a seal of protection. Of course, from Biologique Recherche, their Creme Masque Vernix. There's never a time, and certainly not ever during drier, colder seasons, that I don't have this. I like using this as a moisturizer replacement just because it is so concentrated and has so much good stuff. It's almost like a finishing mask serum. I like using this at night, and there are occasions where I will use this over my moisturizer because this is layerable. But I've also used this during the day because I feel like it really protects my skin from the dryness and the wind and all the harsh, dry winter elements. I do feel a bit of a PSA is in order though, because this is, to put it mildly, quite odorous. At this point, I am completely nose blind. So if I know that I'm going to be in an indoor crowded environment, I actually opt not to use this. I've also spoken a lot about Suwasu's overnight vitalizing mask. Suwasu is the first time I ever came across hanbang in skincare and promptly just fell in love with it. This has their red complex of antioxidant rich red fruit. The texture, it's elegant, it's creamy, but it's really silky, and it has that form filming aspect to it, which I love. The next morning, my skin just looks brighter and everything looks healthier and better. Scent-wise, this is the polar opposite of Creme Vernix. This is the only overnight formula that I use that has a scent to it because I just really like it. I find it very pleasant, and it really kind of helps me drift off. And a lot less pricey is another cream mask that I love for different reasons. Dr. Sam's Revival Mask. This is what I put on my skin for a long haul flight and after a long haul flight because it is just so nourishing, moisturizing. It is a quick protective fix. For really parched skin, or anytime your skin just really needs some love after any kind of extreme exposure. For eye masks, Laneige's Bouncy and Firm Eye Sleeping Mask. This one was very different from the others I've tried and really came as a surprise in terms of its effectiveness. The texture in and of itself was actually very interesting to me because it's not like the regular creamy type of texture. It's like a cloudy gel, so I apply it quite liberally because it feels like I can. I apply it right around my ocular bone, lower and upper eye. It never ceases to surprise me how quickly everything dries down, and it just feels really, really good. And by the next morning, everything is smoothed out. In fact, the result is so similar to when I wear those eye patches. This is like wearing eye patches without wearing eye patches. Everything in the Bouncy and Firm line contains their peony, collagen, and peptide complex. There's also, of course, caffeine and niacinamide to effectively depuff, brighten, and really smooth out. So that my selection of favorites is not too homogenous, I do want to talk about an OG favorite of mine with a whole new look. From Innisfree, their Super Volcanic Pure Clay Mask. I always really appreciated that there's something very, very special and intense about Innisfree's Super Volcanic Clay. It's just clearly better at taking out any kind of blackheads or anything stuck in the pores, especially around my nasal area where it's very obvious. It's better at doing that than almost anything else I've tried. I did an experiment once with a couple of my friends where we put the volcanic clay on one side and another clay mask on the other side. Afterwards, the other side was just kind of a typical result where you'd still see some blackheads, whereas this side with the volcanic clay was completely clear. This formula is kind of iconic to me, and also don't sleep on their stick. The stick mask is basically this mask, but in stick form. So it is a little drier, but it is so, so effective. It's probably one of my favorites of all time. Of course, my Lindsay modeling mask. This is something that really throws me back to when I started this channel. I haven't used rubber masks for a really, really long time. It kind of died out for me. And then I went to Seoul in the beginning of the year. I had a treatment and it ended, of course, as always, with the rubber mask. And my feelings just got completely reignited. I've been using them since. There are very few things that can make my skin look as good and feel as good in as short of a time. It really is kind of that instant fix. Everything is brighter, smoother, softer, more revitalized. So that's it, everyone. Like I said before, this is my new mask era, and I just really wanted to share the ones that I have been enjoying the most and the most often. I really don't think one can mask too much, personally. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'm wishing you great skin health. Bye!